What's going on, investors? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to show you guys how Pac Bio has managed to outperform the likes of Bionano Genomics in the past 6 months. Okay, and then we are going to talk about why BNGO is selling off massively, why BNGO is down year to date, and what is the most important catalyst that I believe analysts are going to be looking for during the next earnings call, okay, during the fourth quarter earnings report. Now in this video I am going to be talking about all those things, and of course maybe we are going to touch a little bit of the price action. Okay, this is where I got into Bionano Genomics, guys. Okay, back in 2020 December, just like on the 23rd of December or on the 22nd, that is when I got into Bionano Genomics. It is now over 2 years that I started to cover this company. Now this is where I got into BNGO, and if you guys take a look at what has been going on with the company, okay, after I got into BNGO, 2 months after I got into this company, we saw that massive rally, okay, till February 2021, last year February, around 16th of February, we got over $15 at one point. But if you take a look at where the price of BNGO is right now, guys, you guys can clearly see that Bionano Genomics has sold off heavily, and I am just like $1 away from where I initially got into buying this company. You guys can see we closed at around $1.38 today. Okay, now I want to share with you guys some important information in this video, so please stay with me. So we are going to be starting with this article right here. Okay, this one is from the monthly full, and the title says, "This innovative growth stock could double or more in 2023. The reason why I want to share with you guys, the reason why I want to talk about this article is the author of this article, Alex Kashidi, made mention of some very, very important point that I think is going to affect Bionano Genomics going forward. Of course, this is something that they released this article on the 22nd of this month, almost a week now, but still we haven't talked about it on this channel. So let's talk about it now. As at the beginning, he spoke about how investors, how they have high expectations, we investors, for Bionano Genomics, but they might not pan out. Okay, so this right here is what I want us to discuss in this article. Then he spoke about the introduction to Bionano Genomics, how the company, the Sapphire device, how let's investigate if that might push Bionano stock to explode in 2023. Okay, how researchers are using optical genome mapping, drug developers are using it to find interesting things, okay, and why it is how it is cheaper, faster than traditional methods. And then if you go down, you can see Wall Street expectations are sky high, but will they come to pass? Okay, so the author went ahead and spoke about how traditionally, without the Sapphire identifying structural variations of chromosomes requires using multiple pieces of hardware and a lot of hands-on. That is, Bionano Genomics Sapphire device is faster and it is less labor intense, okay, unlike traditional methods. Then he went ahead and spoke about how Wall Street analysts, how they anticipate on average that Bionano Genomics stock will reach somewhere near $7.38 in 2023, which implies an upside of about 339% upside. Okay, and from current price, we close at around $1.38 today. Wall Street analysts expect the company to make roughly 45.3 million in sales next year. But the thing is, Bionano Genomics trailing 12-month revenue is around $25.8 million, guys. So that is literally double. Of course, in my own estimate also, I have an estimation that BNGO should be doubling every year. But the author of this article spoke about something that is very, very interesting. Okay, I don't want to waste your time on this. Utilization is lagging installation. So what he's trying to say is, researchers, Bionano Genomics users are not really using the Sapphire device. Why? Because of the flow cells. Okay, I already spoke about this. Bionano Genomics, during their most recent earnings call. So this is my 9-year projection of Bionano Genomics. Okay, I want to talk about the flow cells. Okay, and this is going to drive the next rally or the next sell-off of Bionano Genomics, guys. If you take a look at the flow cells, okay, until the third quarter, Bionano Genomics was literally missing the estimate. Look at that. The third quarter of 2021, we sold 3,969 flow cells, okay, and then since then it dropped massively because Bionano Genomics said, the supplier had some kind of problem, with manufacturing the flow cells until last quarter, third quarter of this year. That is when Bngo managed to beat that Q3 flow cells number, okay. Then they reported, look at that, just about 6 flow cells, okay, above what they reported in the third quarter of 2021. So fourth quarter of 2021 they reported 3,204 flow cells. So let's see how many flow cells Bionano Genomics is going to be reporting in the fourth quarter of this year. Hopefully they are going to beat this number, and they are going to beat this number from the third quarter. If not, I think we are in trouble, okay. The flow cells, we need to keep installing more flow cells. So the argument of this author is that if Bngo, that the report on customers, the consumable cassettes necessary for customers to run samples on the Sapphire were close to flat, okay. If customers are not using the flow cells, it could mean that the Sapphire device is just sitting around. That is literally his argument right here. If people were buying the hardware and using it to analyze chromosomes constantly, we would expect consumable sales to skyrocket. If not, it's going to be flat, okay. It is as simple as that. So while more Sapphires will probably be sold in 2023 than in 2022, the recurring revenue potential of each sale might not be that high, and investors shouldn't look to consumables for top line growth just yet. So I mean, that is it. There are a couple of possible explanations for this unfavorable trend. The first one is that customers don't need to analyze structural variations that frequently. The second is that the second explanation is that the customers who own Sapphires largely do not have enough money to run samples that frequently. So I mean, he is talking about how some laboratories or non-profit research institutions, how they don't have enough money to run samples, which means the Sapphire device is just sitting there. I mean, it's not like I agree with everything this guy is saying, but those are some valuable points. We have to monitor the flow cells to make sure that the number keeps increasing. I would expect Bngo to be selling closer, okay, at least above 4,500 flow cells by now, okay, closer to 5,000 flow cells per quarter. That's my estimate, but right now we are sitting at around 4,000 flow cells sold in the third quarter of this year. Let's see how many flow cells they are going to be selling in the fourth quarter of this year, which we are right now. Now he continued, he said, if sales of consumables starts to pick up next year, it will be a strongly positive sign for the future. So that is that about this article. I find it very interesting, and hope you guys also found it interesting. Now, so this is something that I shared with my Twitter followers today. Okay, we have a new publication, optical genome mapping for comprehensive assessment of chromosomal aberrations and discovery of new fusion genes in pediatric B acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Okay, this one was submitted, it was received on the 24th of September 2022, revised on the 15th of December 2022, accepted on the 17th of December 2022, and then published about a week ago, 21 on December 2022. Now if you take a look at the abstract, it says purpose, to assess the potential added value of optical genome mapping for identifying chromosomal aberrations. Methods: we utilize optical genome mapping to determine chromosomal aberrations in 46 children with B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia and compared the results to OGM with conventional method. So it's more or less like they want to compare, they want to check the concordance of the optical genome mapping device, the Sapphire device, and the old traditional methods of analyzing genomes like karyotyping, FISH, and PCR, and so on and so forth. So that is literally what this publication is mostly what it is about. If you want to go into details, then you guys can see some results. The karyotyping, FISH, OGM right here, karyotype predicted by OGM, and then overlapping genes. And then if you go down further, you can find some results. Okay, the samples 48, OGM, AMP, and so on and so forth. Let's see if there is a conclusion that is not too long. So all right, so this is the conclusion. In summary, two new fusion genes, okay, this gene right here and this one, were identified by OGM and verified by whole genome sequencing and RT-PCR for the first time. OGM addresses some of the limitations associated with conventional cytogenomic testing, as this all-in-one process allows the detection of most major genomic risk markers in one test, which has important meanings for the development of leukemia, pathogenesis, and targeted drugs. So that is the conclusion, which of course is a very interesting one. They were able to detect 2 fusion genes that has never been detected before, but optical genome mapping was able to do it. And so here you have the name of the authors and so on and so forth. So now, the share price of Bionano Genomics today, we closed, minus 1.76%, which is not really bad, but you guys have to understand that we are below the $1.5 that I made 2 most recent videos, telling you guys to buy BNGO. But in that video, I made mention that if 1.5 fails, then I'm going back to my hold. So right now, my stance is hold, not buy, okay? Because, this literally like a falling knife. We need to get to some levels, before I can go back and say buy, before I can rate Bionano Genomics a buy again. So right now it is literally holding on to my shares. I'm not adding anything at this level. If you want to know more about my levels where I plan to add next, you can easily become a member of my Patreon. Link is in the description. It costs about $3 minimum every month. So this is what is going on with BNGO. Market cap is dropping, which is not good, because Bionano Genomics has like 3 quarters left, okay, to run out of cash, and we want this market cap to stay as high as possible, should in case they want to go to the bank to get some loan, okay, to take some credit. So, and still there is no news, there is no press release from Bionano Genomics about the next generation optical genome mapping device, Sapphire device. Nothing from them. And there is also no news about the 7.0 NX clinical software. Nothing from them. We have 2 days left, okay? We have Thursday and Friday, trading day, working days before the end of this year. So it is not good in my opinion. We have 2 days left. Hopefully before the market opens tomorrow, or after the market closes tomorrow, or before the market opens on Friday, or after the market closes on Friday, we are going to be hearing from Bionano Genomics, okay? If not, it is not good. I made a video yesterday and I spoke about it already. So that is that about that. Now, Bionano Genomics, I made a tweet that I found very interesting, okay? The first one says that, is DNA sequencing better than optical genome mapping? And 71 votes came in and they said no. Then I made the inverse tweet and I said, is optical genome mapping better than DNA sequencing? And then everyone says, 81% says yes, 42 votes. And the thing is, none of them is better than each other, okay? I mean, it depends on what exactly you're looking for. And in most cases, those experts out there that are already using both of these devices, okay? For example, Dr. Alexandra Hoyshen from the Netherlands is using optical genome mapping, and then he has deep knowledge into sequencing as well. They are mostly using it to complement each other, okay? We also saw Dr. Kanagal from MD Anderson Cancer Center. She also spoke about the complement each other, optical genome mapping complementing OGM complementing next generation sequencing. So in my opinion, it depends on what exactly you're looking for, but in general, these 2 technologies literally complement each other, so there's no need to fight. Now, this in my opinion is wrong, and the first one is still a little bit correct, okay? So that is that about that. Now, for those of you wondering why Pacific Bioscience of California has been outperforming Bionano Genomics in the past 6 months, one thing is, I think it has to do with a little bit of a short squeeze, okay? If you take a look at the 6-month performance of Pac Bio, okay, it used to be below. It actually used to be below $4. I think it got to $3.5 at one point, okay? It got to $3.5 around July, June, July. It goes to that level, and then we saw that rally to $10.66. So which means it used to be even up above almost 60% in the past 6 months, until now it has corrected a little bit, below $8 today. It went down minus 2.87%, but the market cap is still heavy, $1.7 billion. They have enough cash, okay, 800 and something million US. That is how much Pac Bio has. It's enough for them to run the business for the next couple of maybe 3 years, okay? If if they don't acquire any company, for example. So, and then they, dropped a new version of their system. If you take a look at this, Pac Bio announces, that was 2 months ago, Pac Bio announces Review, a revolutionary new long read sequencing system designed to provide 15 times more hi-fi data and human genomes at scale for under $1,000, and this has been helping Pac Bio, okay, to stay above the all-time low, okay. And I spoke about this, how this device is, still ugly in my opinion, but somehow this device is working for them. And right now, the situation of the market right now, entails that you need to have enough cash at hand. While Bionano Genomics, as they acquired a new company, and we saw the likes of CBO resigning and so on and so forth, which is not good so far. And they have been depleting their cash at hand. Pac Bio, on the other hand, has managed to drop a new system. Okay, we are still waiting for Bngo to do the same. Pac Bio has done, they dropped a new system, 2 devices actually, and then they still have enough money to run, should in case we run into recession next year. I mean, what else do you want, guys? That is it. And I made a negative video about this device because I think it's somehow ugly. But the situation of things right now is different, guys. Okay, I mean, this is not the time for me to start bash on Pac Bio, for example. In my most recent video, I spoke about how Pac Bio has likely, bottomed out, okay, back in June, July, okay, around that $3. If you take a look at year to date, you can see that they went down massively, all the way from $16 to that level. But if you take a look at 1 year, for example, okay, Pac Bio used to trade above $30, I believe. Okay, this 1 year, if you take a look at 5 years, you can see it clearly. Look at that, $34, and that was back in June 2021, above $34, okay, dropping down to around $3.5. That was a massive drop, okay. And then just like they were consolidating, it's consolidated, so it's possibly going to consolidate around this level, okay, depending on the macro economy, what is going on in the news, inflation, Fed interest rate hike, and so on and so forth. So there is a possibility that Pac Bio has likely bottomed, okay, just like Bionano Genomics at 1.16. Hopefully we are not going to go lower to that side again. So so you guys have to watch, during the next earnings, we need to pay attention to the flow sales, which I think is going to be very important, perhaps much more important, than the number of Sapphire device that they are going to install. Bionano Genomics already promised us that in this year they are going to increase the installed base to 240. So let's see what's going to happen if they can increase it to 240. I think they are going to meet that estimate, okay. So if they meet it, the next attention is going to be on the flow sales. So let's see what's going to happen. And of course, the expenses is still there, revenue is still there, but that is not what this video is all about. Ciao ciao.